So if it asks you for the y-intercept, remember this is your y-axis. So you're looking to see where the parabola hits that y-axis. And for me, it's at 0. So I'm going to type in 0. Awesome. Now it's asking, what are the coordinates of the vertex? Now that's a new vocabulary term as well. The vertex, remember, is like the tippy top point of your parabola. So my vertex point would be right here. So I'm going to find the coordinates of that. So how many over on the x and then how many up or down on the y. So if that's where it is, I'm going over 0. So that's my x. And I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4. So my coordinates are 0, 4. I'm going to skip to the next level so you can see some different questions. All right, now it's asking for the minimum. That's going to be the lowest value that I see on this parabola. So the lowest value here is going to be 0. Okay, so if it asks you for the axis of symmetry, remember symmetry is the same if I were to fold it. So if I were to fold this parabola in half, where would it kind of match up? So I'm going to look for the dead center of this parabola, which would be this line right here. If I fold it on that line, it would kind of match up. So if this is where I would need to fold it, I'm going to find the x. So the x value here would be 3. Now it's asking for an equation, so I'm going to do x equals 3. Nice job. All right, I'm going to do one more. Let's jump another level here. And it's just asking me for the vertex. So we already did that. So the coordinates of the vertex, remember, right here, is going to be over 0. Remember, over on the x first. So over 0 and down 1, 2, 3, 4, -5. All right, so there's just a couple examples of what you're going to do to practice, and it's really just understanding what that vocabulary is for this new unit. So good luck, guys. So I would definitely have a piece of paper and a calculator out in order to do this. But basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be plugging in these different values for v anytime you see v in this function. So the function of v equals v squared minus 2. I'm going to plug these values in 4 different times to figure out what this equation equals. I'm going to try to show you an example here, but this is what my work on paper looks like. Let me see if I can show you. So the function of v equals, I'm going to plug in -2 first, then I'm going to plug in -1, then I'm going to plug in 0, and then I'm going to plug in 1. So I'm just replacing that v with the number they give me in the chart every single time. So I'm basically doing 4 different calculations here, okay? So for this first one, if I plug in -2, -2 squared is going to be +4 minus 2 gives me 2. Then I'm going to do -1 squared, which is just 1 minus 2. Be careful of your negatives. This is going to be a -1. Love plugging in 0. So 0 squared is 0 minus 2 is going to give me -2. And then 1 squared is just 1 minus 2 is -1. Now you're probably going to see some repeats here if you did it right, because remember we're dealing with parabolas. These functions have parabolas, so I'm going to see kind of some repeats when I do this. So let's see how I did. Nice job. All right, this one's even simpler. Now I'm doing the function of r equals r squared. So I really only have to plug these numbers in for r and figure out what it is. So if I do -4, if I'm plugging it in right there, -4 squared, it's going to give me +16. Remember, squaring something means you're doing it times itself. Okay, so -4 times -4. -2 squared, so -2 times -2, it's going to give me +4. Love plugging in 0, it's just going to be 0. And then if I plug in 2, 2 squared is also 4. So notice here, again, I have that repeat because I'm dealing with parabolas. Okay? All right, so good luck. Get your scratch paper out, get your calculators out, and crank through this. Your goal is to get a SMART score of 70. I know you guys can do it. And you're going to see a bunch of free-floating cards. So we've talked about the zero product property today, and basically you're looking for which one of these is the x-intercepts for the given graph. So I'm just going to pick this one. It doesn't matter which one you pick. And if you use the zero product property and set both of these equal to 0, then that means that for this x minus 1 equals 0, my x is going to be +1. And for this one, if I set this equal to 0, that means I have x is equal to -1. So I'm looking for a graph where the parabola hits the x-axis at 1 and -1. So it's not this one, not that one. Nope. Nope. It might be this one. It's kind of small to see, but it looks like, yep, it hits at +1 and -1. So once I find the graph that works, I'm just going to hover that over the right equation, and now those are matched together. So that's your goal. You want to try to find matches. I'm going to try to find one more. I've accidentally linked those, and I did not mean to. So for this one, if I set both of these equal to 0, I have x minus 7 equals 0, so x is +7. And then if I set this equal to 0, that means x is equal to +4. So hopefully you're seeing that it's basically just the opposite of what you've been given. So I'm looking for a graph where the x-intercept is +7 and +4. So if I look here, I'm not seeing it. Oops, it might be this one. So it hits at 1, 2, 3, 4, and it hits at 7. So I'm going to match those two together. And basically, that's all you got to do today. So you're going to find pairs. Which equation matches which graph? So good luck, you guys. If you need some help, you let us know. There's really no submission. It's basically just making sure you log in with Google, doing the card sort, and then you're done for the day. Hope you guys have a great weekend. See ya.